Thank you all. Thank you so much for the invitation, EOPA. It's a real pleasure to have everybody here at the Department of Energy. So welcome to our headquarters. And yes, my name is Chris Castro. I serve as the Chief of Staff here at the Department of Energy in a newly formed office called the Office of State and Community Energy Programs. Very exciting, also known as SCEP. Our office is about to turn 1 year old in 4 days. So it's an exciting week ahead. Not only are we celebrating, obviously, the Thanksgiving holiday ahead, but the incredible work we've done to lift up a new federal programs office that really focuses on how can DOE be a better partner and a co-investor in driving local economic development and job creation in our states, in our local governments, across our tribal governments, and in community serving institutions. So what I wanted to do very quickly before we jump into the panel is just give you an overview of what this office is about. We manage a wide range of funding opportunities and technical assistance programs, 28 different initiatives that equal up to $16 billion worth of formula and competitive grants and technical assistance offerings for those stakeholders that I mentioned earlier to help them accelerate their transition to clean energy. And we do so really with the focus on our underserved and our historically disadvantaged communities first and foremost. It is the lens at which we look at in developing every program here within SCEP. And we know that deploying clean energy for just the sake of clean energy isn't really solving any problems. What we're really looking to do is use this as a tool to drive this local economic development, job creation, wealth building, and of course, moving towards our climate goals as well. Next slide. I mentioned the 28 different programs, and SCEP is unique in that our office is technology agnostic. We are intending to use all of the tools and tool belts across our technology offices at DOE and really look at a community to meet them where they are and understand what that transition might look like. So our programs really cover the gamut. The two largest programs that we have really focus in on the household. It's the Weatherization Assistance Program that for 47 years now has been one of the longest serving EE programs helping low-income households reduce cost. Right. And so the BIL, the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, plus that up to $3.5 billion. And we're now working across the entire country in every county in order to deploy those dollars into our homes. In addition, the other big kahuna is the 8.8 billion. Sorry, if you could go back there real quick, the 8.8 billion of the home energy rebates. These are rebate programs that are going to be lifted up at our states across the country and ultimately helping our low and moderate income households with retrofitting their appliances, their air conditioning systems, their water heating systems in order to drive not just reduction of energy, but also decarbonization. And so we're very excited. We're starting to see states develop their applications, and soon into 2024, we're going to begin seeing these rebates made available for individuals like yourselves and your communities to begin driving these retrofits. In addition to the household perspective, though, if you take a step up, we have funding for nonprofit 501c3s in our communities. We have funding for school districts for the first time ever. We have funding for higher ed institutions to help them with new training programs and workforce development. We then have funding at the state level where we're funding all 50 states, 5 territories in D.C. to drive this energy transition forward, and so on and so forth. So you could see, we really do cover the gamut of all levels of support. Next slide. Really quickly, just diving into some of these with a little bit more detail. One of the most important programs that we have going out and far reaching is called the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant Program, or EECBG for short. We do a lot of acronyms here at the Department of Energy, so apologize for that. But EECBG is actually the furthest reaching funding opportunity coming out of DOE. 2,708 entities are going to be getting direct formula grants. That includes all 50 states and the territories, but also 1,878 city and county governments, 744 tribal governments. So we're talking about it really flowing. And the beauty about this is the most flexible. If you go to the next slide, we're excited that essentially now we're about to unlock the tribal portion of this, where 774 tribes are eligible for their funding. and ultimately, helping us to streamline the application process. We know that capacity and burden is an issue. And so what we've been doing is trying to minimize that burden through several different ways. One, we have community energy fellows. We're actually funding individual capacity, individuals in communities to help them with developing their projects. We're also creating blueprints that allows a community to use their funds in a best practice way and streamline the process of receiving those dollars. And of course, wide-ranging technical assistance. So that's been really, really exciting. We also have a new grant. It's an annually appropriated grant program called Energy Futures Grants. And one of the things we've been trying to do is have communities work together, form teams of multi-stakeholders that come together to drive place-based innovation focused on environmental justice. And so this just closed November 10th, but again, the next round will open up in the spring, and this, we are excited, will be an ongoing program to support local and state governments. Next slide. Couple more here. Building codes. We know that building codes are, one of the major ways from a new construction, but also existing building standpoint, that we can implement to race to the top, as the secretary likes to say. And luckily, because of the Inflation Reduction Act, there's $1 billion for communities and states to update their codes to the latest net zero codes, to the latest IECC codes, and even thinking about existing building standards that can start getting that building stock in our communities to move. Next slide. Community-led innovation prize. There's close to $7.5 million that's opened up currently right now to essentially support local community-led innovation. And this is coming out of our partner office in EERE. Next slide. And then Communities Leap. This is really an exciting effort where DOE has jointly funded with 8 different offices across DOE to support between 24 and 32 communities with deep technical assistance, tapping into our national labs and the supercomputers and the technical capabilities of the labs to develop 100% clean energy transition plans, and then identify what funding and TA they can plug into to accelerate that plan moving forward. So it's a tremendous opportunity. And communities to clean energy to communities, C2C, is another way that we're trying to enable the modeling, the analytical capabilities for our communities to understand what pathways we need to go to hit this clean energy goal. So just in, and one last one I will say that will soon come out into early 2024 is a new annual grant program called Local Government Energy Program. And it is intended to focus on our energy communities, the fossil transition communities, the historically disadvantaged communities, and small and mid-sized jurisdictions only. Often our largest and larger cities tend to eat up most of the funding opportunities. They have more capacity, they have more data, they have more abilities. And what we're trying to do is create a grant program that really targets those who have been often left behind. So I think that does round out most of our grant programs. I will mention that workforce development is also absolutely essential to ensuring that we make this transition in an equitable way. SCEP has about $260 million in different training programs, and the next one that will coming out soon by the end of December, before the end of December, is the Energy Auditor Training Program, helping to train the next generation of residential and commercial energy auditors so that we can start to really accelerate these retrofits. So I think I'm going to stop there. Thank you for the opportunity here to share a little bit more insight into SCEP. We have a tremendous amount of resources on our website, and I want to point you to energy.gov/SCEP, SCEP. And if you go a couple more, you'll see there's actually one more. Yep, there's a Stay Connected slide. Everything from signing up for our newsletter, our local and state government newsletter comes out every month and curates all the types of opportunities, not just in SCEP, but across the department that are really supporting states and local governments and communities. So thank you.